Chosen one. Hear this now, because this is not a small interruption. And this is not a message you were meant to scroll past. God is warning you before something dangerous closes around your life. You may not fully see it yet. You may not understand why your spirit has felt unsettled, why your steps have slowed down, why certain things suddenly feel heavy, blocked, or strangely out of reach. But heaven is making it clear. Stay out of it. Do not force that door. Do not chase that conversation. Do not step into that situation thinking you can manage it by your own strength. Because what is ahead is deeper than it appears. And God is protecting you from a battle you were never meant to fight alone. This is not a weakness. This is not a delay. This is divine protection. God says you are standing at the edge of something that could wound your peace, cloud your discernment, and pull you into a storm that would cost far more than you realize right now. But the Lord, in His mercy, is stepping in before the damage is done. Proverbs 3-5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." This is your moment to obey even before you understand. This is your moment to trust, even when you cannot see the full picture. Chosen one. Have you felt lately that God has been stopping you for a reason? Have you sensed in your spirit that something was off? Even if you could not explain it, then this word is for you. The hand of God is moving now. He is blocking what would harm you, closing what would trap you, and redirecting what would have led you into sorrow. Do not call it rejection when it is a rescue. Do not call it silence when it is protection. If you receive this word, comment 777 and declare, "I will obey God's warning." And if you are ready to trust His protection over your own understanding, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it before it is too late. What feels like confusion is not confusion at all. It is an interruption. Holy interruption. Right now, while you are trying to make sense of the heaviness, the stillness, the strange resistance around your next step, God is already moving ahead of you. He is not reacting late. He is not trying to repair a mistake after it happens. He is stopping it before it reaches you. There is something in front of you that looks manageable on the surface, something that seems small enough to handle, reasonable enough to enter, familiar enough to trust. But heaven is seeing what you cannot see. That is why your momentum has changed. That is why your spirit has not been able to settle into peace around it. That is why what once looked simple now feels burdened, delayed, interrupted, and restrained. God says this pause is not accidental. This pause is protective. You have been interpreting the slowdown as frustration, but in the spirit, it is mercy. You thought you were being hindered, when in truth you were being shielded. You thought something was being withheld from you. But what is really happening is that danger is being denied access to your life. There are moments when the Lord allows speed, and there are moments when He commands stillness, because only He knows what waits beyond the next door. This is one of those moments when obedience will save you more than effort ever could. The truth is, you were about to move too quickly into something that carried consequences far heavier than you understood. You were about to speak where silence would preserve you. You were about to step in where restraint would protect you. You were about to involve yourself in a matter that would not simply drain your energy, but disturb your peace, distort your focus, and pull you into a battle designed to scatter your strength. But God, in His faithfulness, stepped into the path before your foot fully landed there. He did not do it to shame you. He did it to save you. Think of Balaam on the road, moving forward, convinced he was free to continue, unaware that the angel of the Lord had already taken a stand against the path ahead. What he could not discern with his natural eyes, heaven had already confronted, and what looked like obstruction was actually mercy standing in the road. That is what is happening now. What frustrates your flesh is preserving your future. What confuses your natural mind is protecting your calling. God is not merely slowing you down. He is placing a shield around your next decision. He is interfering with what could have injured you. He is overriding your urgency because your soul is too valuable to let impulse lead you into a trap. Even now, there are words you have not spoken because God restrained them. There are places you have not gone because God blocked them. There are responses you wanted to give, doors you wanted to force, people you wanted to confront, and situations you wanted to fix. Yet somehow everything kept stalling. That was not weakness. That was the hand of the Lord preserving you from a chain reaction you would have regretted later. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3-5-6 is not just comfort for this hour, it is instruction. You do not need full explanation before obedience. You do not need visible evidence before surrender. You need discernment, and discernment begins with trust. The slowdown is speaking. The stillness is saying something. Heaven is not silent just because your plans have paused. In fact, this silence is part of the message. God is clearing static from your spirit. He is cutting through the noise of fear, pressure, emotion, and distraction, so you can recognize that not every open situation is an invitation, and not every urgent feeling deserves your reaction. Some things must be left untouched. Some matters must be left in God's hands. Some battles are lost the moment you insist on entering them without His permission. That is why this season feels so unusual. You are being supernaturally restrained from moving in the wrong time, with the wrong emotion, and in the wrong direction. And though it may sting your pride, it is preserving your destiny. What is being protected right now is not something small. It is your peace, your focus, your spiritual clarity, your next season. You may not yet realize how much heartache this interruption is preventing. But one day you will look back and thank God that He did not let you move when you wanted to move. You will thank Him that He did not answer that urge, that He did not allow that attachment, that He did not release you into something your spirit was not meant to carry. So do not mistake this holy resistance for abandonment. Do not let frustration interpret what only revelation can understand. God is guarding your life with more precision than you know. And every delay around this matter is loaded with mercy. This is where the message becomes even more serious. Because the danger before you is not ordinary, and it is not harmless. What is forming around you is not just a difficult moment, not just emotional pressure, not just a disappointing situation that will pass on its own. No, this is deeper. This is targeted. This is spiritual. There is an unseen strategy moving beneath the surface, and it is aimed directly at your peace, your discernment, your calling, and your future. The enemy does not always announce himself with chaos. Sometimes he comes wrapped in familiarity. Sometimes he enters through a voice you trust, a hand that seems helpful, an opportunity that looks timely, a relationship that feels safe enough to lean on. That is what makes this hour so dangerous. The trap does not look like a trap at first. It looks like support. It looks like comfort. It looks like something you can manage. But underneath that appearance, something darker is trying to pull you off the path God marked for you. God says, this is why your spirit has been restless. This is why you could not fully relax into what looked good on the outside. This is why something in you kept hesitating, even when your mind tried to explain it away. Heaven has been sounding an alarm inside you, because what is approaching carries consequences greater than you can see right now. If you step into this carelessly, it will not just cost you a moment. It could cost you months. It could cost you years. It could drain your strength, fracture your focus, cloud your hearing, and entangle your heart in something God never assigned to you. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This is why you cannot read this season with natural eyes alone. This is not merely about people. It is about influence. It is about access. It is about what has been trying to enter your life through what looked acceptable, reasonable, even compassionate. Some people may not even realize they are participating in the pressure around you. And there are others who know exactly what they are doing, smiling in your direction while carrying confusion in their hands. Not every invitation is innocent. Not every connection is clean. Not every open door was opened by God. Remember Judas? He sat close. He walked near. He looked like he belonged in the circle. Yet betrayal was sitting at the table before it ever revealed its full face. That is how serious discernment becomes in a season like this. The wound does not always come from a distant enemy. Sometimes it comes dressed like nearness. Sometimes it comes with soft words and hidden motives. That is why God is being forceful with you now. He is not whispering because the danger is not small. He is not gently suggesting distance because the attack is not minor. He is warning you because something has been set in motion against your purpose. And if he did not intervene, your heart would walk into grief, thinking it had found peace. So hear this with trembling and with faith. What God is blocking is not less than what you wanted. It is more dangerous than what you understood, and what feels painful right now may be the very mercy that keeps your destiny intact. Have you ever looked back and realized that God protected you from someone you once trusted? If this speaks to your spirit, declare it boldly. God exposed what I could not see. What you have been feeling lately is not weakness, and it is not failure. It is not proof that you have lost your fire, nor is it evidence that God has stepped back from your life. What you are experiencing is far more sacred than that. It is a holy slowing, a divine stillness. A protective hush falls over your soul because heaven knows something your natural mind does not yet fully understand. You may have been wondering why your energy has changed. Why conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy. Why your emotions seem quieter. Why your usual urge to act, fix, respond, explain, and move has been interrupted by this strange inner resistance. But God says this is not the death of your momentum. It is the preservation of your destiny. You are being held still for a reason. There are seasons when the Lord empowers movement, and there are seasons when His mercy takes the form of restraint. This is one of those seasons. You have been interpreting this weariness as a problem to solve. But in the Spirit, it is a shield. God is calming your impulses so you do not step out ahead of His protection. He is dimming the noise around your emotions so you can stop confusing urgency with assignment. He is allowing certain parts of your strength to go quiet because if you moved in full force right now, you might enter something that would wound you more deeply than you know. What feels like emotional distance is not emptiness. It is isolation. What feels like exhaustion is not collapse. It is heaven pulling your hands back from something your heart was not meant to carry. There is a difference between being stuck and being sealed. And right now you are not trapped. You are covered. God is shielding you from the pressure to react before revelation comes. He is keeping you from speaking out of pain, deciding out of fear, and attaching yourself to what only looks right in the dark. That is why this moment feels so strange. Part of you wants to push through it, to break the silence, to force clarity, to regain control, to make something happen. But another part of you knows that something deeper is taking place. Something in your spirit has been telling you to be still, to withdraw, to stop striving, to stop reaching. to stop trying to rescue what God has already marked for removal. And that inner warning is not your imagination. It is the mercy of God resting on your life. Think of Elijah after the fire, after the pressure, after the collapse, when he had to be led away from the noise and stripped of the storm around him before he could hear the still, small voice again. Sometimes God does his deepest work not in the earthquake, not in the wind, not in the visible shaking, but in the hush that follows when the soul has finally gone quiet enough to listen. That is where you are now. In a hush, in a sacred pause, in a moment where your spirit is being recalibrated under the hand of God. Do not despise this silence. Do not rush to escape it. Do not accuse yourself because you do not feel as sharp, as social, as expressive, or as eager as you once did. God is drawing toxins out of your spirit. He is severing invisible cords. He is cutting off wrong influences that had too much access to your emotions, your attention, your inner world. Some of what you call disconnection is actually deliverance. Some of what you call numbness is actually protection from overload. Some of what you call delay is God refusing to release you back into noise before your soul is safe again. Things are being broken off in this silence that could not be broken off in chaos. Lies are losing their grip because you are no longer feeding them with reaction. Manipulations are weakening because you are no longer available to every voice demanding your attention. Traps are collapsing because God has hidden you in stillness before the enemy could fully draw you in. So breathe. Let the stillness do its work. Let the quiet become sacred again. You are not being abandoned in this season. You are being guarded with precision. And when this hush lifts, when this weight shifts, when this holy restraint completes what it was sent to do, you will not emerge smaller. You will emerge clearer, cleaner, steadier, and far harder to deceive. There are doors in your life that looked right at first. I felt familiar at first, even seemed necessary at first. But God says what you were trying to keep open was never meant to carry you into your next season. That is why some things have suddenly become difficult to hold together. That is why certain plans have stalled, certain relationships have shifted, and certain opportunities no longer feel as clear as they once did. Heaven is not confused. Heaven is intervening. What feels like loss to your emotions may actually be a rescue for your destiny. God is closing doors because he has seen what was waiting on the other side. And what he saw was not peace, not alignment, not blessing, but delay, sorrow, confusion, and spiritual harm. You may have asked for protection, and this is how protection came. You may have asked God to order your steps, and now he is refusing to let your feet walk into what would have wounded you. Isaiah 22:22 says, "What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open." This is not a gentle suggestion. This is divine authority. When God closes a door, it is not because he wants less for you. It is because he refuses to let your future be tied to something that cannot survive where he is taking you. Some of the very things you cried over losing were the things preparing to break your peace. Some of the connections you tried to preserve were carrying hidden burdens, hidden compromises, hidden pain. But God, in his mercy, stepped in before the damage became permanent. Think of Lot being pulled out before destruction fell. Mercy moved before judgment reached him. That is what God does when danger grows too close to your assignment. He will not always wait until you understand. Sometimes he closes the door first and explains it later. That is why this season has felt so painful. Something in you still wanted to hold on. But something greater in God was determined to pull you free. And the truth is this: not every loss is loss. Some losses are deliverance. Some endings are protection. Some closed doors are the only reason your calling remains intact. So do not keep grieving what God is removing. Do not keep begging him to reopen what His wisdom has already shut. Ask yourself honestly, what door has God been closing in your life? What has been slipping away no matter how hard you tried to hold it together? If this speaks to you, declare it with faith. Lord, close what is not for me, because when the dust settles, you will see that the door God closed did not block your blessing. It blocked your destruction. What is leaving your life right now is not leaving by accident. It is being removed with precision. God is pulling you out of something that was quietly being arranged against you. Something subtle, something layered, something dangerous precisely because it did not look dangerous at first. You may have called it a delay. You may have called it confusion. You may have called it loss. But heaven calls it extraction. There are situations you were about to step deeper into, relationships you were about to trust more fully, environments you were about to adjust yourself to, and none of them were meant to carry your calling. God saw the hidden weight inside them before you did. He saw the slow poison beneath the pleasant surface. He saw how your peace would be drained, how your focus would be scattered, how your spiritual clarity would be weakened if He did not intervene now. That is why certain people have begun to feel distant. That is why certain spaces no longer fit you the way they once did. That is why what used to feel natural now feels heavy, misaligned, and strangely difficult to remain in. This is not abandonment. This is rescue. God is erasing your name from places that were never authorized to define your future. He is disconnecting you from circles that could not honor what He placed inside you. He is breaking invisible ties before they tighten into chains. And yes, extraction can feel painful, because even unhealthy things can become familiar, and even wrong places can start to feel normal when you have been standing in them too long. But do not mistake familiarity for assignment. Do not mistake attachment for alignment. When God begins to pull you out, it is because staying would cost too much. Joseph was torn away from what was familiar before he was established in what was ordained. The separation was painful, but it was necessary. In the same way, what is being removed from your life is making room for what can actually carry your purpose forward. So stop mourning every shift as though it were proof of loss. Some shifts are proof that God is still guarding you. Some separations are mercy wearing rough hands. Some endings are the strongest evidence that your destiny is being protected. What falls away in this season was never strong enough to go with you where God is taking you. Trust the hand that is pulling you out. Trust the wisdom that is undoing old ties. And trust this: when the extraction is complete, you will not be empty. You will be free. While you have been trying to understand the changes around you, heaven has been doing far more than protecting you from one wrong step. God has been rewriting the shape of your next season. This is why so much feels unfamiliar. This is why what once felt stable now feels like it is shifting under your feet. This is why relationships, desires, habits, expectations, and even parts of your identity are being shaken. It is not because your life is falling apart. It is because God is refusing to let you remain in a version of life that cannot hold the weight of where He is taking you. You are not just being rescued from danger. You are being repositioned for destiny. Even now, while you sleep, while you wait, while you wonder why certain things no longer move the way they used to, the hand of God is rearranging what your eyes cannot yet see. He is touching the next years of your life. He is reordering connections, redirecting timing, removing interference, and aligning your future with a precision no human mind could ever achieve. What feels slow on earth is not slow in heaven. What feels delayed to you is already active in the spirit. God is not only saying no to what would have harmed you, He is saying yes to what will establish you. That is why this season carries both discomfort and holiness. Something old is losing its grip, and something new is being built in silence. You may not yet have language for it, but your spirit can feel it. There is a rearrangement happening. There is a hidden acceleration taking place beneath the stillness. God is not merely preserving your peace. He is preparing your platform. He is not merely cutting off wrong doors. He is constructing right ones. He is not merely taking you away from confusion. He is moving you toward clarity, authority, and a stronger alignment with your calling. Think of Joseph again. What looked like betrayal, delay, and disruption was, in truth, a divine relocation. Every painful turn was moving him toward the place prepared for him long before he arrived there. In the same way, not one change in your life is random. Not one closed door is wasted. Not one painful separation is outside the knowledge of God. He is too intentional for that. He is too sovereign for that. So do not fear the shifting. Do not cling to what is fading. Do not panic because the old map no longer works. God is writing a new path beneath your feet. And when this season fully opens, you will realize that what felt like divine interruption was actually divine construction. He was building a future you could not have built for yourself. And he was doing it with power, mercy, and perfect timing. You do not have to force what God has already assigned to find you. You do not have to chase every door, prove your worth to every person, or exhaust yourself trying to manufacture what only divine favor can release. This is the part your flesh struggles with, because you have lived through seasons where you felt forgotten, overlooked, and left to make things happen on your own. But God says this next connection will not be born out of striving. It will be born out of alignment. While you have been in this season of restraint, separation, and holy redirection, heaven has not been silent. Heaven has been arranging. The right people are being positioned. The right voice is being stirred. The right door is being formed. Someone with influence. Someone with reach. Someone with the ability to open what you could never open by effort alone is being moved in your direction even now. You may not know their name yet, but God does. You may not see the path yet, but God has already walked ahead of you. What you could not build through pressure, He will release through favor. What you could not secure by striving, He will bring through timing. This is why you must not return to panic. This is why you must not break your peace trying to force what God has already promised to align. Joseph did not have to manipulate his way into remembrance when the appointed moment arrived. After the prison, after the silence, after the hidden years, one moment of divine timing changed everything. The one who had forgotten him was stirred to remember, and the door that no human effort could open swung wide by the hand of God. That is how favor moves when heaven decides the time has come. It does not crawl. It arrives with precision. In the same way, there is an introduction, an opportunity, for une invitation, a sudden opening being prepared for you that will not come because you begged for it, but because God ordained it. This is not fantasy. This is how the Lord rewards hidden faithfulness. He knows where you have been faithful in private. He knows what you carried without applause. He knows every silent prayer, every resisted compromise, every tear you never explained to anyone. And now, what was cultivated in secret is moving toward recognition. So breathe, stay aligned, let God do the arranging. The right people will not need to be manipulated to see your value when heaven has already marked the meeting. What God has for you will not require you to betray your peace to receive it. It will come with clarity, with confirmation, and with the weight of His favor resting on it. Something has shifted in the spirit, and it is no longer only about what God is pulling you out of. It is now about what He is placing upon you. This season is not ending with rescue alone. It is ending with authority. God is putting a new weight on your life. Not the weight of fear, not the weight of confusion, not the weight of pressure, but the weight of spiritual authority, holy clarity, and mature discernment. You are not coming out of this hidden season the same way you entered it. You are coming out sharper, stronger, quieter, but far more powerful. There is a difference between being loud and carrying authority. There is a difference between reacting quickly and seeing clearly. And God is teaching you that difference now. Your words will begin to carry greater weight because they will no longer be born from panic, wounded emotion, or the need to prove yourself. They will come from a place deeper than impulse. They will come from a place that has been trained in silence, steadied in surrender, and purified by restraint. What once confused you will not confuse you the same way again. What once pulled on your emotions will not move you so easily. What once looked attractive, simply because it was available, will no longer deceive you. Because discernment is becoming your compass. God is training your spirit to recognize the difference between His voice and distraction, between divine opportunity and emotional bait, between true peace and counterfeit comfort. John 10:27 says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." That is not a distant promise. That is becoming your reality. You will hear more clearly. You will sense more quickly. You will know when something carries heaven's signature and when it only carries pressure, noise, and urgency. This is why certain small assignments, draining obligations, and misaligned responsibilities have started falling away. You are not being pushed aside. You are being repositioned. God is separating you from what is beneath your true calling, so you can stand in what actually reflects the measure He placed within you. Some things had to leave your hands because they were too small for where He is taking you. Some roles had to end because they kept your strength tied to places that could not honor your next level of obedience. And as this authority settles on your life, something else will grow louder than fear. Peace. Not fragile peace. Not temporary relief. A deep inner peace that steadies your mind, guards your spirit, and silences the chaos that once tried to rule you. This is not emotional excitement. This is spiritual maturity. God is not just helping you survive this season. He is building you into someone far harder to manipulate, far harder to distract, and far harder to pull off course. What He is placing on you now will speak long after this season ends. What felt like silence was never empty. What has felt like stillness was never wasted. What has felt like a delay was never abandonment. God has been doing some of His deepest work in the hidden places of your life. And now you are close to the moment when you will understand why He would not let you move the way you wanted to move. This silence is not the end of your story. It is the preparation for movement with power, movement with clarity, movement with protection, the movement with heaven's backing on it. You have been in a season where so much was stripped down, desires changed, relationships shifted, familiar places became uncomfortable, old ways of thinking no longer fit, doors you thought would stay open began to close, and at times, it may have felt as if life itself had gone quiet around you. But God says the quiet was necessary. He was pulling you away from the noise so He could rebuild your hearing. He was pulling you away from constant reaction so He could rebuild your discernment. He was pulling you away from false urgency so He could teach your spirit how to move only when heaven breathes on the moment. This is why you must not misread the season you have been in. You were not being buried. You were being planted. You were not being ignored. You were being covered. You were not being pushed back. You were being positioned. Some things can only be formed in hiddenness. Strength, formed in public, often depends on applause. But strength formed in silence depends on God, and that is the kind of strength He has been building in you. He has been silencing you before empowering you. He has been separating you before elevating you. He has been slowing you down before sending you. He has been emptying your hands before entrusting you with something greater. So do not despise what felt small, what felt slow, what felt restrained. Heaven was not punishing you there. Heaven was preparing you there. Think of David in the fields before the throne, hidden with sheep, unnoticed by men, but seen fully by God. The oil of his future did not begin in the palace. It began in a hidden place. The same is true for you. What is coming next will carry more weight than what you have known before. And that is exactly why this season had to shape you so deeply. God is not interested in giving you a platform without stability, influence without discernment, movement without peace, or doors without the character to walk through them well. He has been building from the inside out. He has been strengthening your inner life so that when acceleration comes, it does not destroy you. And acceleration is coming, not reckless motion, not anxious striving, not flesh-driven urgency, holy movement, ordered movement, protected movement, the kind of movement that happens when heaven says now. When that moment comes, you will not need to force anything. You will not need to explain everything. You will not need to beg for what God has already decided to release. The same hand that restrained you will also launch you. The same God who closed doors will open the right ones. The same voice that told you to be still will tell you when to rise. So lift your head. Let hope return to your spirit. The silence has not been your ending. It has been your consecration. It has been your alignment. It has been your preparation for a movement that will not be sustained by emotion, but by the power and timing of God. What God blocked was not meant to break you. It was meant to save you. That is the final word over this season. What has been leaving your life? What has been closing? What has been delayed? What has been interrupted? What has been pulled out of your hands was not removed because heaven forgot you. It was removed because heaven was guarding something too important to let it be destroyed. You were not being denied your future. You were being preserved for it. Some things could not go with you where God is taking you. Some attachments could not survive the weight of your next assignment. Some voices had to be silenced. Doors that had to be shut. And distractions that had to be cut off because your life is moving into a new level of clarity, peace, and purpose. So do not go back to what God delivered you from. Do not reopen what He closed. Do not chase what He removed. Trust the hand that interrupted you. Trust the wisdom that restrained you. Trust the love that would not let you destroy yourself trying to hold on to something that was never meant to carry your destiny. You are not ending this journey weaker. You are ending it more clearly, stronger, more discerning, more grounded, more difficult to deceive. What once confused you will not confuse you in the same way again. What once pulled you out of peace will no longer have the same power over you. God has used this season to sharpen your hearing, steady your spirit, and reposition your life. And now the path ahead will not be built on panic, but on alignment, not on striving, but on favor, not on fear, but on holy confidence. So stand firm in this word. Let your heart come into agreement with what heaven has spoken. The danger did not win. The trap did not close. The wrong door did not take you in. God stepped in. And because He stepped in, your story is still moving toward promise. If you receive this message, comment 777 and declare, "I will stay out of it and trust God." And if this word spoke directly to your spirit, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this warning and this promise today.